Hello friends, welcome back to more Reddit stories about entitled people, crazy people, and everything in between. So be sure to subscribe for more and let's get right into it, guys. Betrayed and unpaid. Scammed a homeless man. It's a long story, but I am currently homeless. But don't worry, I am working hard to improve my situation. I don't do drugs or drink, and I put at least 10 resumes out every day. I've finally found a way to make a little money, ensuring I don't starve. I pick up odd jobs on Kijiji and Craigslist. It's nothing glamorous, helping clean out a small apartment for $20, or assisting with a move for $50, things like that. This past Sunday, I responded to an advertisement for moving help, 4 hours of work for $100. I was thrilled and contacted the guy immediately. However, things took a turn when I met him. Right away, he was rude, commenting on my size. Despite that, I focused on the job, working hard without wanting to risk losing the pay. I completed all the heavy lifting, and when he mentioned a last item in the haul, I went to fetch it. Turns out he deceived me, leaving me holding the table as he drove away without paying. I repeatedly tried to contact him but received no response. Finally, when he picked up, he callously laughed and said, "Player's gonna play," and hung up. I feel foolish for trusting and not securing payment up front. It's infuriating that he continues to taunt and make fun of me, thinking he's a big man for being such an awful person. Edit, I just want to say I'm not that mad. I even have my own ad out for odd jobs on Kijiji and have had a decent amount. Like last Friday, a lady gave me a call because no one would help her. She was in a panic. Why? There was a pigeon in her apartment and animal control laughed at her. She paid me $80 to walk towards a bird as it flew out the balcony door. I even said I didn't do much, but she was thankful and insisted I take 80. I only asked for 30. His reaction to the revenge was explosive. I was driving a taxi back in the late 80s, and my passenger, a bloke about my age, about 24, and I were having a good old chat. Sitting behind a car at traffic lights, I saw the driver in front reach his arm out the window and drop a burning cigarette onto the road. I made a comment, something like, "I hate people who litter." My passenger, who didn't see what the driver had done, asked me why. I told him. He immediately got out of the taxi, walked over, picked up the burning butt, and dropped it on the driver's lap. I didn't expect the next bit, though. The driver, in an understandable reaction, hit the accelerator and shot across the intersection. The light was still red. Unbeknownst to us, there was a police motorcycle 3 or 4 cars back. He took off and pulled the guy over and presumably gave him a ticket. We didn't stick around to find out. The light went green and we disappeared, laughing our heads off. In hindsight, it was lucky he didn't run into another car or person. It could have been ugly. Am I the a-hole for telling my mother-in-law she won't be seeing my baby after throwing a baby shower for herself? My husband and I are expecting our first child. We moved to be closer to his family. I'm no contact with mine. My mother-in-law has been referring to the baby as her baby this entire time. She will say things like, "I can't wait for my baby to be born. My baby is going to be so loved." This rubs me the wrong way for reasons I cannot explain, but my husband tells me to ignore her. My mother-in-law wanted to throw me a baby shower and invite her friends. She said they made an agreement a long time ago that they would celebrate each other's kids' weddings and births. My husband and I eloped and declined a reception for her friends since we don't know them. My mother-in-law told me that I owed it to her to let her throw the baby shower, since I hurt her friends' feelings by not having a wedding reception. I asked if I could invite my friends, and she said no, that this was for her friends, and that if my friends wanted to throw me a shower, they could. I reluctantly agreed. My husband and I spent hours on our registry, and my mother-in-law asked for it so she could share with her friends. She said she forwarded the registry on. She asked me what design I wanted on my cake and cookies. I told her flowers because I am decorating the nursery in a garden theme. At the shower, they provided me with a mother-to-be sash and my mother-in-law a granny-to-be sash to wear. I noticed that the theme of the shower was circus animals. The cake had an elephant and balloons on it, and the cookies were animals. At first, I thought that maybe the floral theme was just too difficult, so I rolled with it until it was time to open presents. Every present was some sort of circus animal. Onesies, blankets, toys, nothing on my registry. I was a little confused and even went so far to check my registry to make sure I hadn't goofed up and changed everything. I thanked everyone for their gifts and tried to sound as gracious as possible, but I was so confused. My husband, who is a little less tactful than I am, showed up at the end of the shower and noticed the theme right away. He goes, "What's up with all the circus animals?" He looks at the presents and says, "This isn't what we asked for." Then he looks at his mom and goes, "Mom, what did you do?" She smiled and said, "I didn't like the theme you chose for my baby. I'm going to decorate my baby's nursery at my house with circus animals, so I created a registry for myself." My husband said, "You did what?" She says, "My baby is going to need a room at my house, so I threw a shower for myself." I lost my composure and told her that she would not see my baby and to stop calling the baby hers. And my husband told his mom that she's delusional if she thinks we're going to allow this. She started crying and said we are just withholding her baby from her. We've been getting texts from his family since the shower, calling us selfish and ungrateful, and saying we ruined her joy of being a grandma. Are we the a-holes? I think the way that OP and her husband reacted to this was a pretty fair reaction. Your mother-in-law is obviously unhinged, and if you just allowed that behavior to continue without saying anything about it, then it would probably only get worse. For someone to be excited to be a grandma and maybe say the phrase "my baby" a few times is, it's acceptable. It's totally understandable. But she is obviously taking it way too far, and it's honestly a bit concerning. I would definitely be very cautious about her. That is just beyond normal excited grandma behavior. HOA messed up big time. Okay, so where to begin? I have been in a battle with my homeowners association for months. This whole mess started when I suspected a board member of receiving kickbacks on jobs. I and a few homeowners set up a sting operation. A family friend is a licensed contractor and put in a bid for work. The president invited him over, and during the conversation, the president bluntly said, "Any job approval requires a 10% overbid deposit if you want the work." He did record on his phone, but because we are in a two-party consent state, it couldn't be used. We have sent numerous requests for financial records and have been stonewalled for months. The owner of the property management company is in on the scam as well. I and 5 other concerned homeowners have been stonewalled time and time again. We finally banded together, got a lawyer, and of course, COVID hits, and the courts are closed. So 3 weeks ago, I had a major operation affecting my ability to walk. I am wheelchair-bound temporarily. I submitted a request for an accommodation of a ramp I would pay for. These are individual houses and would have zero encumbrance on any other homeowner in the community. The HOA, of course, denies the request. Reason? The homeowner has not proven they are disabled. A note from the surgeon was sent over. Denied. Reason? HOA called doctor's office. Doctor does not exist. Homeowner is making false claims. You can't make this crap up, right? So I say screw it and put the ramp up. Board member decides to put brick pavers in front of the ramp with caution tape on it and a note saying unapproved. The lawyer reached out to the board one last time before filing and accidentally got a reply meant for the other board members. I'm going to effing get him. He's lying and just trying to be a pain in our ass. Let's just keep denying the requests. We're the mother effing board. We set the rules and what we say goes. Judge grants injunction and is trespassed for my property. I sort of forgot about the whole thing. The board has been leaving me alone. Until today, when 2 board members came banging on my door, telling me they're going to kill me. Thanks, Ring, for recording it all. Yelling how they will make me permanently crippled. So turns out the community's insurance company refused to pay the legal bills. They were also not indemnified because it was done with malice. The 2 board members are on the hooks for almost $9,000 in legal fees, plus $35,000 in punitive damages. And while we're on the topic of HOAs, HOA is fining me for something beyond my control. A few weeks ago, we got a pitiful little snow that was barely really a frost, just enough to cause a little trouble of the roads, because any sort of weather causes troubles on the roads here, but nothing severe. So my husband and I go out, get in our cars, and leave for the workday. A while later, I don't remember if it was 5 days or a week, we get an email from the HOA saying we are being fined for something. They aren't very specific at first, but they're saying it's about the snow in our cars. We are very confused. There is not enough snow to shovel, as you will soon see. Finally, after a few back and forth emails, they simply send us a picture describing the problem. Here's the picture. The imprint our car left in this pitiful snow was the shape of a dick, and somehow that's our fault. I died laughing. This is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard of being fined for, and we flat out told them we weren't paying. Eventually they realized we were serious about not paying, and since there were no bylaws on the books about something like this, they dropped it. Entitled kids steal presents meant for special needs and get punished. An elderly woman at my church had brought expensive chocolates for the special needs members for Christmas. They were from a very well-known local chocolate shop in my city. She purchased the gifts to honor her recently deceased grandson, who was also special needs. The presents were placed under the tree the church set up, and all the presents would be gifted to everyone after the sermon. However, during the gifting, the woman realized the presents she had bought for the special needs kids weren't gifted to them. She brought it up to the pastor, who had a few others search for the presents, which had specific white wrappings with gold ribbons. After a few minutes, they eventually found the presents, which were already halfway eaten by a few kids. Their parents were not happy with what the kids did and apologized. To punish the kids, the parents offered the gifts the entitled kids received to the special needs kids. This upset the entitled kids, who threw tantrums, resulting in them getting dragged to the cars and being driven back home early. My mother communicates with the parents of those entitled kids, and from what she is told, the kids are still upset at being punished for stealing presents. None of them seemed to think it was wrong to steal from others, and blamed the special needs kids for getting them into trouble. Well, that's all for today, guys. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it. Be sure to hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. So I'm out of here. Stay tuned for more, and I'll see you all next time.